thought I'd do a little video to kind of document exactly the way I feel at the moment. Not doing very well so far. We found out we were pregnant at 4 weeks because I missed my periods and I got positive. And we had a scan at week 7, just because I've had 3 miscarriages. It was just a scan to make sure that everything was as it was supposed to be. At that scan, we were told again, like with the pregnancy in February, that there was bleeding around the sac. And also the sac was very small, which is a pattern which I have noticed each time. They've never specifically said anything about it, but each time I ask the question, is that sac too small and will something go wrong? They don't know what causes miscarriage. They don't know how to prevent it. They can't prevent it. You just have to deal with it. Sometimes it ends, sometimes it doesn't. I did some research after the scan at 7, and it said that it was a study that a university had done, and they found that 90% of pregnancies with a small gestational sac would end in miscarriage. So, I mean, we've been here before, we knew what was happening. So we went away. They offered me another scan, but I'd actually turned it down because I'd kind of made up in my mind what was going to happen, and I didn't feel like I needed to torture myself anymore. But then about a week later, of kind of just being in limbo, like not knowing what was going to happen, expecting the worst, but to be honest, I don't know if I was hopeful for the best or if I actually believed it. But when it got to 8 weeks, I thought I would like to see it again, and just see. I mean, you just don't know. Maybe we're the 10%. So I had my scan yesterday, which ironically was the due date of the baby that we lost in March. And they confirmed that there was no heartbeat. Oh, I didn't think I'd get upset. And I guess I thought I'd record this because sometimes you just kind of have to realise the raw emotion that you go through when something like this happens. And it's one thing kind of knowing someone that has been through it and it being splashed around and, you know, baby loss awareness. It's absolutely fabulous. There's not a lot of times that you just see somebody, probably for a reason. It's not nice. I kind of wanted to remember for myself, because a couple of times when we've lost babies, I felt like I'm a bit heartless. I think because I worry about what physically will happen, sometimes it's like I forget what I've lost. And it is hard. And I know, because we've had it before, that we'll be fine. And I'll be strong and I'll do everything I have to do. But right now, right now it's not really fair. But the silver lining is that this baby, when I lose it, is going to be sent away for some testing, some chromosomal testing, and they've decided that I've got a case now for some investigation. So they're gonna look into if there's a reason, because they've all got quite a significant pattern now, with the size of the gestational sac and now obviously the pocket of bleed that I have. They've decided that it's worth a try. So we'll see. Well, it's all over. My bleeding started, I think, on Friday, and it was kind of on off Friday, Saturday, so it'd start and then stop, and I didn't really know what was going on, and it was quite scary. I always get scared because I never know what to expect. I've had quite bad miscarriages in the past, so I'm always apprehensive. On Sunday, yesterday, the bleeding properly started. So I was at a swim gala for my 6-year-old, and we had to kind of rush off to the hospital as soon as we'd watched her swim, because the consultant last week told me that as soon as I started bleeding I had to go to A&E. So we went to A&E, and they offered me to take a pot home, catch the baby and keep it in a fridge overnight. So we waited around, and we ended up speaking to a gynecologist just to kind of ask a few questions, and I was examined to see what was actually happening with me, and they said that it wasn't kind of imminent, so it just kind of go away and see what happened. And they did offer me a bed, but I'd rather not be in hospital, really, if everything looks to be okay. So we came home with a pot, and slept on the sofa. For some reason, whenever I know I'm about to miscarry, I can't go to bed, because it's just, with our second miscarriage, I woke up in the night and I had to run to the toilet because I was bleeding so heavily, and we ended up in A&E, and it was really, really bad. So I associate going to bed with something bad happening. So we slept on the sofa, and at about 4 o'clock, in my office, my downstairs toilet, drama. It's really the only place in the day that I can go and I'd say not be disturbed, but I've probably got about 2-3 minutes before a small person opens that door. So, as I was saying from last night before I got interrupted by the 1-year-old, about 4-ish, probably about 4:30 it was, I've been in a lot of pain. If you've been through it, you'll know the pain. It's like really, really strong period pains. I'm like a bit odd in that I don't really like to take painkillers unless it's unbearable, just because for me, if you have to go to hospital, they ask you how the pain is, and if I've just dosed up on painkillers, then it's not going to be that bad. So I like to kind of stay away from pain relief until I absolutely 100% need it. And also I kind of I don't know, it kind of, the pain sort of reinforces that something's happening, so it's kind of, I know how far along I am and know how close I am to it all being over by the pain escalation. I don't know if that even makes sense, probably doesn't. But I mean, the pain was quite bad, and I mean, I woke up at about 4:20, and all of them I've lost in the night. This actually come away at the night, and this was very like the last one. So when I woke up, I knew what was going to happen. I knew what was going to be waiting for me. So I went to the toilet, passed the baby straight away, and then obviously, because this time it's been sent for genetic testing, I had to make sure that I had the baby so that I could put it in the pot and send it away. So Luke did that for me, because I think that was, I couldn't really cope with it, and he sort of wanted to be able to do something. So that was weird. It's weird when it goes, because you feel, I felt a sense of relief, because obviously we've had quite traumatic miscarriages in the past, and the reason why they've been bad is because the baby hasn't gone, so the bleeding's been really intense. So when it does pass quite easily, I feel a sense of relief. It kind of is my reason. I don't have to be brave anymore, because I know it's kind of dealt with, and it's kind of a weird, you know, it's closure. It's a very, very strange thing to have to deal with, but I did it, and I'm very proud of myself, because this time I didn't feel strong, and I didn't want to be. And everyone says, oh, you're so brave, but you don't have a choice. I mean, like with childbirth, I always used to say to people when they'd say, oh, are you nervous, are you scared? I'd say, well, yeah, but it doesn't matter, because it's not like I can keep it in there, you know, it has to come out, and it does. So you just kind of have to just wait and see what happens. And here we are on the other side. Now that it's been sent for testing, apparently it takes 6 to 8 weeks for the results to come back. And then where do we go from there? I don't know. I don't know what happens next. Half of me hopes they find something, half of me hopes they don't, because then it means there's a problem. But it would kind of be nice to have a few answers to all my questions, of which there are many. My body kind of deals with things quite quickly, and usually once I've been told that the heartbeat isn't there, like the next couple of days is when I start bleeding. Like, it doesn't take my body long to sort of start the evacuation process, which I'm grateful for, because if it was drawn out for weeks, it would be unbearable. And I think it kind of helps sometimes that my body's able to process things quite quickly. I just crave being normal again when I've come out the other side of these things, because you feel different when you're pregnant anyway, but it's kind of good different. But when you're pregnant and you've had lots of miscarriages, you just feel scared all the time, scared to do anything. You're kind of over cautious of every single thing. You don't want to lift anything, you don't want to do anything that could possibly play a part in you losing it. So you're just on eggshells all the time. It's just horrible. It's not enjoyable. And you know, at this time, as much as I hope that it's going to be okay, I don't know if I ever believe it will be. So there's an element of like calm now. I can just be me. I don't have to worry too much about what I'm doing or what I'm eating or what I'm drinking or what exercise I'm doing. I said that like I do exercise. I think maybe just, you know, a bit of self-care is in order. I don't think the journey's over, but for now we will be having a long break because my heart really broke this time. And I just don't know if I can deal with it again soon. So